Lads, I'm after been talking for about 5 minutes, introduced the whole show. You probably didn't hear a word of that. Do you want to know why you didn't hear a word of that? You didn't hear a word of that because I didn't turn my mic on, which is absolutely stupendous. So it's not that the mic isn't working. So the last day when you couldn't hear me, obviously we had Jeez, I shouldn't be allowed on the internet. I shouldn't be allowed on a computer. So the last time you couldn't hear me, I had the mic on, it just wasn't working. Then was it yesterday you couldn't hear me because music was playing in the video. Do you see that music that was playing in the video that I didn't want in the first place? Well, do you want to know something even better about that? They actually copyrighted my my stream because that music was playing in the background, even though I didn't want it to. They were like, no, that's enough for you. We're copyrighting your stream. So I had to go and remove that part of the stream so other people would actually be able to watch that video. Today, I've done one better. I started the video and I just, see this little red light? That means the mic's on. The light wasn't on, it was grey. And thank God, I just happened to look down because the chat's not working on this screen. I have it over on this screen. And I was like, the mic's not on. Thank God, because I could have been going for a while, because I don't know, there's something wrong with the back end of YouTube at the minute. This happened to me yesterday as well. My comments just aren't working. They're not there. But I'm back. I'm here. You can see me, and hopefully you can now hear me. Flossie and Guess are in the chat. I'm sure I saw Dave Boy shortly ago. That's not a real phrase. Not long ago. Also as well. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, a special extra thank you to Mama Flossie for being in the house when Newcastle are absolutely smashing Qarabag. And I mean smashing. I thought my prediction for this match was 3-0. So I did think yous were going to beat them and beat them solidly. I did not think we were going to see 5 goals. Now I see they have just got one back, but let's face it, that's a consolation prize. Yous have been absolutely unbelievable so far. So I have that on my screen. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. Ray Ray is in the house. Ray Ray is here for the preview because I am supposed to be talking about Arsenal. But oh my goodness me, genuinely, Newcastle are taking my breath away at the minute because there's been so many rumours about all of your players leaving. Tonali was leaving. I saw one earlier on X. Voltemada is unhappy and he wants to leave England. He doesn't like the Premier League. But we know that's a load of nonsense because we read his GQ article where he wore all those beautiful clothes and reminded me of Cilla Black. And he said how much he loved the fans and he felt at home and he really enjoyed his time at Newcastle and he felt like it was his right choice and where he belonged. And that article was like, not long ago. It was like a few weeks. So I just think sometimes people get a wee bit dramatic. They say things that they say things just for attention, I think, if I'm being quite honest with you. Why again my wee stream is just absolutely not working for me. What is the story with this carry on? I'm just going to have to read the stuff out for you lads because it's not working, and honestly I haven't the patience to try and make it work tonight. It's just having a notion. Oh, Hassam's in the house. I didn't even spot Hassam sneaking in there because there's so many blue. We have Flossie and Guess taking over the chat. Not a cult, I would just like to say. Didn't even spot Hassam sneaking in saying Liverpool. Liverpool, that is the normal way to say that word, okay? I accept the criticism of how I say Sunderland because it's a little bit different. But I mean, Liverpool is actually how you say that word. I think at some point I'm going to put that to a vote. Who says Liverpool more correctly? Me or Don Hassam? Because I think it's me. Dave Boy is in the house. Evening, and obviously Dave Boy is cheersing everybody because he has a drink in hand. He needed a drink after seeing all them goals go in. But let's talk about what we're actually here to talk about. We will keep an eye on Newcastle smashing Qarabag, but we're here to talk about Wolves and Arsenal. Now, Last night, I did something unprecedented on this channel, and I gave praise and credit to Mikel Arteta. I said nice things about the man, even though he works for the enemy. But you have to give credit where it's due, even if it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. It's okay, because you can have a cup of tea and wash it down. But recently, maybe it was yesterday, all the days blend into one, and there's so many things on social media. Guess is letting us know that she says Liverpool. But I mean, to be fair, Guess, I was going to say English isn't your first language, but it's not really Hassam's first language either. It's just mine. So that means I'm the one saying it correctly. Thanks very much, Guess. And to be fair, Don Hassam is correct, and I don't say that often. He is telling everybody to like and subscribe. And I mean, he is a Don. We do have to sometimes do what he says when he's not talking about Liverpool. But Mikel Arteta came in for a little bit of criticism, and he was asked about this incident in his press conference, which is why I'm bringing it up, because obviously it's all related. Remember, we talked about it yesterday. We plant the seed, then we connect the dots. I'm mixing metaphors, but it's fine. I know you know what I mean. If you don't at this point, you're never gonna. So grab a guardrail or something. But there was a video that came out. Essentially, Mikel Arteta was leaving, I believe it was a match or a training. He was leaving some sort of function anyway. And his wife and his child were inside the car with him. There was a grown man, okay, at the window of his car with a jersey, I believe it was, asking him to sign it, begging him to sign it. It's for my son, it's for my child, da 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 da. And I have seen some criticism of Mikel Arteta that he didn't stop the car with his family in it, his wife and his son, open the window and then sign this, I think it was a jersey, for this grown man who was literally, he could have licked the window, he was that close, okay? And so Mikel Arteta's come in for a bit of criticism, and people are saying, you know, it's not a good look, he's the manager, he's a representative, he should be stopping, he should be interacting with the fans, he gets paid enough, he should take time out of his day, blah, 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 okay? And my thing is, yes, he's the manager, that's fine. But also, he's a human being, okay? And he's not on duty, he's with his family. And you have to be cautious because, as we know in this world, there are crazy people. We don't know. Maybe the fan does have a son that really loves Arsenal, and that's fine. But Mikel Arteta has a decision to make, and he doesn't know that. He's in the car with his family. Like, his first and only priority in that scenario has to be his family. But he was asked about it. He was asked about it in his press conference, and this is what he had to say about it. And I just think when we're going to level criticism at people, they should have the opportunity to respond. And so in this case, he was given the opportunity to respond, and I thought it was quite a fair response that he made. So we're going to just talk about with, we're just going to, I can't get the words out. Ray says, get away from my car if my family is in it. And I think that's completely fair. Completely fair. And Behind the Dugouts is in the house. Hello, my dear. Nice to see you. But I'm going to play this. And again, as per usual, let me know if you can hear it, because obviously the technology is going well so far this evening.
Recently, there was footage of you being harassed by this fan who wanted his shirt signed, and you told your family. What was going through your head at the time, and did it disappoint you?
I always try to be very respectful. I love to sign and photograph as much as we can. I think it's part of our role. But there are certain things in terms of security that we have to respect, and especially with certain people are doing it that they are not doing it for the right reasons. And we have other examples. The last time my wife was there, and what was in the media was totally wrong and unfair, but that's it. I prefer to talk about the incredible other people that comes around genuinely because they want that to have that interaction, and I think everybody knows me how happy I am to do that. But there are moments and contexts that is not the case, and then we need somebody there to protect us as well, because if not, we will get exposed, and you cannot move from your car, and you don't feel very comfortable there. But that's it. I take it in the chin. Doesn't matter.
Now, I see a lot of the time people talking about essentially Arsenal get picked on. I don't think that's the case. I don't think Arsenal get picked on any more than any other team. I don't think they get picked on more in the media. I don't think they get picked on more by other fans. This thing of picking on Arsenal is not a narrative I go with. I think when you're at the top of the tree, people want to pull you out of the tree. I think when you're at the top of the league, people want you to fall because you never want anybody to do better than your own team. Luke is popped in and he has said hello to Mikel. With Mikel, he's chatting away there. I would show you him, but I can't make it work, so at least you could hear him. But my thing is, you also have to draw a line between things. So people have said to me, because obviously I keep saying I want Arsenal to lose, and tonight I want Arsenal to lose, I want Wolves to win. I think that's unlikely, but I want it to happen. And you know, people say, well, as a United fan, would you not dislike City more and want City to win the league and therefore want Arsenal to win? And what I said about that recently was, well, no, when Arsenal play I want Arsenal to lose, and when City play I want City to lose. I want them all to lose. I just want them to keep losing, okay? That's not because I'm picking on them. First of all, it's because I'm a Man United fan, so I'm just never going to say nice things. But the second part of it is that when you're winning, you're the target. So at the moment, Arsenal are top of the league and they look, in my opinion, highly likely to win the league. The most likely they've ever looked. So they've been at the top of the league at Christmas 4 times. This was their 5th time, okay? Out of those 5 times, to me, this is the most likely they look like to actually then go on and win it in the summer. Do you know what I mean? And so, because they are currently the top of the league, they're the people that everybody are hating on. That is a normal fan response. It's not personal, it's not crazy, nobody's picking on you, it's because you're doing well. If, for example, Arsenal completely fall off and City overtake them and City become top of the league, what will happen is Arsenal will start to receive less criticism. They'll get banter, they'll say they're bottlers, you'll get the bridesmaid memes, you'll get bantered, okay? But the criticism will wear off. What will happen is people will move across and they'll start criticising City. If, for example, Villa had done what I was cheering them on to do and they had gone top of the league, people wouldn't really criticise them because people would look at it as an anomaly, a once-off. They've got lucky. It's a Leicester season. It's not real. They're not seen as real competition. So the way I always take it, because obviously as a United fan, we get criticised by everybody and we've been terrible for years and we're still getting criticised by everybody, but that's because we have been so successful in the past. It is the price of the success that we have had in our past and that we are hopefully going to have again in our future. People see us as a real genuine threat, more so than say a Villa. So for me, when people criticise my club, I take it as a compliment because the more criticism you get, the more of a threat people see you as. The people dislike you more because you're doing better than their club. So the more they're criticising you, the more of a compliment it is. So I don't think Arsenal get picked on. I think it's because they're top of the league, people are giving out about them. That's just the way, that's life. Get over it, take it as a compliment, okay? However, I think criticising a man for not stopping a car with his family inside it so a strange man at his window could reach in, I think is nuts. I wouldn't stop my car for a strange man no matter what job I'm in, particularly if my family's in the car. I don't know many men that would randomly stop their car and to open the window for a strange man because yes, okay, he's a fan, he's talking about his son, he has a jersey, it's a different life that they live. At the end of the day, Mikel Arteta does not know him. He is a strange man who has an Arsenal jersey. You know nothing more about him and your wife and child are in the car. I absolutely do not blame him for not opening the window. I think it's a completely normal reaction. I think the fact that he's being criticised for it is completely nuts. And I actually do think it's one of those occasions where it is a little bit unfair criticism. I think it's a bit nuts. And I've actually seen a lot of it. And I was like, who in their right mind stops a car for a stranger and then opens their window? Flossie, oh my goodness me, you have made it 6-1. What in the name of goodness are you doing? Murphy, right, so let me read out who's scored these goals so far for Newcastle. So Gordon got the first one. Gordon is on fire in Europe, considering he's not doing particularly well, his goal record in the league. he's doing all right in Europe, isn't he? Then Thiago got one, and then you've got the penalty. Then Gordon scored the penalty, then scored another one, and then scored another one. So Gordon has a hat-trick before half-time. He has a first-half hat-trick, which is insane no matter who your opposition is. A first-half hat-trick. He's 4. What's it for 4? So a hat-trick plus 1? Like, what do you even call that? That's insane. That is absolutely insane. He has now been subbed off, obviously. And then Jacob Murphy has scored one just now. But 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can count to 4. What is there a name for 4 goals? It's not that common. Surely that's some sort of record. After Flossie, how many days had he not scored in the Premier League? It was about 200 days or something. It was something crazy. And now he's gone and scored 4. Well, I know Ash is going to be in a good mood now on Friday. We're going to get happy Ash. I thought we were going to get angry Ash after some of the stuff that was coming out about Newcastle. We might get happy Ash now. That's something else. A quad trick, says Flossie. Albo is asking, is there any truth that Voltemada wants to leave Newcastle? Albo, I don't think so, because to be honest, there's that many rumours about different Newcastle players. I think if all of the rumours about all of the Newcastle players were true, they wouldn't have anybody left in their first team, because they've all been linked with moves away. And to be honest, we only read the GQ article there from Voltemada where he said in that article, I'm so happy I'm here. The fans have made me feel so welcome. When I made the own goal and I saw the fans' reactions, I knew I'd come to the right place. I don't think a man says that and then 2 weeks later he's unhappy and wants to go home. I don't think that's true at all. I think this talk of him being unhappy, I think is actually I actually just think it's a lie. I don't even think there's a nice way to say it. I think it's a lie. When the man himself is saying, I know I'm in the right place, I'm really happy. I mean, I don't think you can get any further from him being unhappy. So, to be honest, I just think it's a bit, I think it's a bit of gossip. I think it's a bit of rumour. I think it's a bit of sour grapes from some of the teams that didn't get him. I don't think there's any truth in it. I would always be more inclined to believe what Voltemada himself says than a random source that nobody actually knows who the source is. And to be fair, it's Voltemada's week this week. Last week it was Tonali. The week before it was somebody else. They're selling all their players if you listen to the rumours about Newcastle at the minute. I didn't spot the Chelsea boy sneaking in. The Chelsea boy, nice to see you. Obviously we did see our Kai popping in and we have said hello to Luke. I'm just making sure I haven't seen anybody coming in. So I've seen everybody there. Please do make the Chelsea boy feel welcome, folks. We have a new member, hopefully a new subscriber in the chat. So on your best behaviour, people, be nice. But that was just a prelude, I suppose, in the build-up to the match. And obviously Mikel Arteta was asked about it in his press conference. And I just wanted to address it because I think sometimes you see the internet, things exactly like this. So things get said and then they're like a whirlwind. So this thing got said about Voltemada is unhappy, okay? But we know that Voltemada himself has specifically said he's very happy and feels he's in the right place. Therefore, that can't possibly be true. But because one person said it and then another person copied it and then another person copied it, next thing you know, it's all over the internet, it's all over Twitter, people are talking about it, and you get the rumours are, people say, sources, when actually the only source that matters is the guy himself, and he said that's not true. And it's the exact same thing here with the Mikel Arteta incident. He didn't stop for a fan. The fan only wanted it signed for his son. He works for Arsenal. He's a representative. He gets paid loads of money. He should stop his car with his family in it for a random man and open his window. Sounds crazy when you put it like that. And all it takes is one little thing and the internet runs away with it. The internet is a crazy place, people. But I just wanted to address it. Now, moving on from that, I want to talk a little bit about Wolves, because Arsenal are not the only team that are going to be in this match. Wolves are very much going to be in it. And Ray, if you are still here, close your ears now, because you don't want to hear this bit. Everybody else is going to be supporting Wolves. Listen up. In Premier League history, and this was posted by the Premier League, so that feels like a good source for this information. In Premier League history, the team at the bottom, Wolves, have beaten the leaders, Arsenal, on only 4 occasions. So 4 times, bottom of the table has beaten top of the table in Premier League history. But 2 out of those 4 times, it was Wolves at Molineux. So in Premier League history, it's been done 4 times. 2 of them were Wolves. Could we see a hat-trick for Wolves? Might they follow in Newcastle's Gordon's footsteps? We're seeing records tonight. We're seeing crazy things. Is it possible Wolves, who have experience in doing this, might just pull off something magical? Now, I do believe that's unlikely. However, the Premier League, are out here giving me hope. Now, I did have one more that I wanted to share. It was a little video. You can probably hear, even though I'm not trying to make you hear it. There we go. I've turned the sound off. But I did have a little video I wanted to share, but it's just not doing what I want it to do. It's not doing the thing I'm asking it to do, which is just, it's really rude. But basically, some of you might have seen it. So, when Arsenal played Brentford, there was, I believe it was a long throw. Might have been a corner, but I believe it was a long throw. And so it was towards the goal. Okay, kind of like when you take a corner. And so there were a lot of players from both Arsenal and Brentford in the area, in front of Raya, in front of his goal. Okay? And there was a little bit of tussling. You know, the kind of thing that you see Arsenal do when they're taking a corner. They tussle. They obstruct the goalkeeper in a legal manner. They get in the way a little bit. They get physical. And often they score from it. So, what happened in the Brentford game was that Arsenal got Arsenaled. And in the area, Brentford sort of impeded Raya a little bit. Very much how we see Arsenal do to opposition keepers. And then we see David Raya get exceptionally frustrated, and he went to the referee to complain about the fact the Brentford players were in his way, in his area, tussling with the opposition during a set piece. And I am not one of the people who have criticised Arsenal about their set pieces. I think more power to them. I think if they can do it and it's working and they're scoring and they're winning, I think they should keep doing it. I haven't criticised them in any way, shape or form for it. However, to employ those tactics on the regular to the point where it's helping you win the Premier League and then complain when somebody else does it is absolutely insane. You can't do that. And honestly, it felt like something that Pep would do. It felt very much like a City type of thing to do rather than an Arsenal thing to do. And it did make me laugh. However, it did also make me think that's the kind of tactics that maybe other teams might deploy. So if anybody saw the Brentford match, and you would like to think that Rob Edwards, when he was doing his research for this match, would have watched some footage, or maybe the whole match, and if he maybe saw that David Raya got more than a little bit frustrated and flustered when he was sort of crowded in his own box, you would think, now I'm not a senior high Premier League manager, I don't have any training badges, but I would like to think if you see a thing that works, you might say to your players, do you know what works? This. Get in his area. Just have a bit of a kerfuffle, get in his way a little bit. Not like, enough to get in trouble, but just make him a bit uncomfortable. Because when people get uncomfortable, they make mistakes. When they get frustrated, they make mistakes. So, our bits of hope so far for the non-Arsenal fans. 4 occasions in the Premier League, bottom of the table have beaten top of the table. 2 of those times were Wolves at Molineux. We're playing at Molineux tonight, people. David Raya does not like to be crowded in his area to the point where it makes him angry enough to speak to the referee and it might throw him a little bit. These are the two things that I'm currently clinging on to. If I just take a little side step back into reality for just a moment, a brief moment, I do think Arsenal are going to win the match. I think they're likely to win the match. I think it's highly unlikely Wolves do something crazy here. However, I just have a little sprinkle of hope that I didn't have before I saw these things. But let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Flossie, 382 subs. Ooh, ooh. Welcome to the gang, people. Not a cult. I just have to keep saying it now. I'm going to say that someday when someone's in the chat and they're going to be like, what is she talking about? But let me see. What else are we saying? What else are we talking about? Marv is in the house. Marv is telling everybody to smash that like. Absolutely the way to do it. What else have we got? Albo is telling me not to jinx it. Sorry, Albo. I do apologise. This is where we're going to differ slightly in what we want the outcome of this match to be. But I don't want you to be miserable. But I mean, if I can jinx it, I will. Apologies in advance. Although I don't rate my jinxing abilities because, although maybe I'm very good at jinxing because I've wanted United to win for a while and that's been a bit shaky. So you never know. It might go the other side for you. Alvo's gonna unsubscribe if Wolves win. Don't do that. After I just said so many nice things about your manager 2 days in a row. I mean, I think as a United fan, I've been very magnanimous about Arsenal. I could have said a lot worse. He's gonna unsubscribe and throw his phone away because I've jinxed them. We're gonna need a welfare check for Alvo. Oh dear. Oh dear. He's deleting YouTube. He's unsubscribing. He's throwing his phone away. But let me see. Alba was also saying, I don't rate Raya as an Arsenal fan. Marv, I did miss your hello. I missed it completely because I was too busy ranting. What was I ranting about? What else did I miss? Yes, Flossie is correct. Said random man could have a knife or worse, and then what? I mean, we've all seen that story of the girl that was attacked, like the guy threw the acid in her face, and she's literally, her face is deformed for the rest of her life, and I believe she was some type of model. Do you know what I mean? You literally never know. I actually think he was 100% correct to be that cautious, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. But are we still at 6-1? Has there been another goal? Because at the Rachels are scoring them, it wouldn't. No, we're still at 6-1, people. I just thought I would check that because at the Rachels are scoring, it could have been anything. Could have been anything. Oh, Marv was late because he was making his offering. I see. If better be jokes, Alvo, because we'll have to send a search party out to look for you. It's all right. We do normally have Wills and Anthony in here, but they're obviously getting pre-match ready. They're getting pumped up. They don't want to hear any of my juju nonsense about Wolves and their record at Molineux. They've had enough of me. But I do think a lot of people, I think Arsenal are going to win. I do think that, if I'm being realistic. But I do think a lot of people have written the match off as, you know, it's going to be a landslide. It's going to be like Newcastle versus Qarabağ. I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think Wolves... I think people are still judging Wolves on when Vitor Pereira was their manager. I think from they have had Rob Edwards, I do think there's been a drastic change. I think they're doing far better. And obviously they're still not absolutely stupendous, but they're far, far better than they were. And Arsenal aren't quite at the level that they were performing at. The gap has closed at the top of the table, which I actually didn't expect. I thought Arsenal were just really going to start running away with that, and they haven't. And Wolves have improved. So while I think Arsenal will win, I do think Wolves will put up a bit of a fight, and I do think Arsenal have to be ready for that fight. They have to be ready to snuff it out straight away. Now, I could be really wrong. This could be an absolute massacre, but I don't see that. And if I'm Wolves, I'm going in, I'm looking at everything that can give me a positive boost, and I'm looking at what made them uncomfortable before. Do you know what I mean? Albo is saying Middlesbrough fans would love to see Wolves go down and Edwards and them go up. Yeah, to be fair, I can understand why Middlesbrough fans would not be pleased. I can 100% understand why they wouldn't be happy, because I mean, he abandoned them mid-season when they were doing really, really well. So I don't blame anybody from Middlesbrough that doesn't like him, but I'm cheering him on at the minute, at least for tonight. But one of the other conversations around this is that in the likelihood that Arsenal do win, which most people seem to be accepting of, they're going to go clear. They're going to be clear at the top of the Premier League table. They're going to go 7 points. If they win this, 7 points clear at the top of the table. Now, I'm being a little bit pedantic here, and this is a personal peeve. It's not, user all might be like, why is this bother her? But for me, they will be 7 points ahead. Obviously, because that's how maths works. They're currently 4 points ahead. If they win and get another 3 points, they're going to be 7 points ahead. I struggle with the phrase clear. They'll be 7 points clear. The reason I struggle with the phrase is, to me, 7 points clear implies 7 points clear and ahead, a way out in front, nobody's catching them, it's you're clear, there's nobody even close. The thing is, you can't ignore the match in hand that City are going to have. To me, 7 points clear would be everybody had played the same amount of matches and you were 7 points ahead at that point. So clear is you're far ahead and it's 11 playing field. While we can't assume City will win their game in hand, it's a possibility. We can't assume they won't. I just don't think you can say clear. I think it is pedantic, it is semantics, but I also think language matters. And when you say 7 points clear, it sounds like they're stomping ahead. So when the gap was actually 7 points, after everybody had played the same number of matches, at that point it was fair to say 7 points clear. I don't necessarily think that's as clear cut tonight, because they've played an extra match than everybody else. Everybody else has the opportunity to make up those points. So I object to the using of the word clear, to be honest. But it is my own personal peeve. I don't expect everybody to feel the same about that. So don't worry if you don't. But as Albo says, this is our chance to go clear. Love it. Love it. City are masters at catching up. And when the Blue Sharks come, it's impossible to stay alive unless you have a dolphin to sacrifice, obviously, for not a cult. And then you're saved. That's an excellent way of putting it, Albo. I do thoroughly enjoy that. Very good. But lads, what do you reckon? Because obviously we haven't done a prediction for this. If I'm predicting, my score prediction would probably be 3-1 to Arsenal. That's what I reckon. What do you think? What would your score prediction be for tonight? Realistic score prediction. What do you think is going to happen? Now, Wolves are going into this having lost 3 of their last 5. Arsenal are going in having won 2 of their last 5. Obviously, top and bottom of the table. What do we reckon? What are the scores we think are going to be on the doors at the end of the match? Do you think it matters if people say clear even though there's games in hand? Am I just being a bit pernickety? Because it's a possibility. It does happen. I reckon 3-1. But I reckon it's going to be entertaining. I don't think Wolves are going to roll over for Arsenal. I think it's going to be a good match to watch. I'm actually kind of pleased there's no other matches on at the same time. While I always want more football, sometimes it disappoints me when I feel like there's multiple good matches at the same time, because you can't give them all the same amount of attention. Even if you want to watch them all, even if you're trying and you have all the different screens, you're not. It's not the same as concentrating fully on one match. So I'm looking forward to the fact that I'm actually going to get to see it. I'm going to get to watch it properly. I have watched a few of Arsenal's matches this season, and I've watched a few of Wolves' matches actually. But I think it's a very interesting dynamic going into it. Albo reckons 2-1. Ray doesn't care. He doesn't care how many the score is. He just wants the points, which to be fair is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. But it's a bit of fun. But he reckons 2-0. If you forced him to pick, Ray reckons 2-0. So both of the Arsenal fans in the chat reckon Arsenal are going to score 2. I would have thought 3. They're scoring at quite a few recently. Is that in my head? But I feel like you've been actually scoring quite a few recently in your recent matches. Let me see if I click Arsenal here. Well, obviously against Wigan you scored 4, although to be fair then against Brentford you only scored 1. But then against Sunderland it was 3, Chelsea it was 1, Leeds it was 4. Like, it's very up and down. And then obviously in the match with us there was 5 goals total between us. So yous are quite up and down, but I feel like yous are scoring more, like more often. More of your matches are high scoring than low scoring. I couldn't make the sentence work there. I was like, how do I say this in English? The only language that I speak. Well, no, I don't. I speak Portuguese, but you know what I mean. But I suppose Marv, what has Marv said? Marv reckons a 1-1 draw and more points dropped. Ray and Albo are going to love that, Marv. They're going to be so pleased. The last thing I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to just read out the lineup for anybody who hasn't had the opportunity to look, or, you know, is here with me, keeping me company. And then I'm going to let you all go, because it'll be only a few minutes to the match and everybody needs to get their snacks, get their drinks, get themselves ready, the right channel on, the sound on, everybody out of the way so you can sit and enjoy the match. So, the lineups are, let me see, push the button please. No, I want to see this on the full screen so it's not tiny. No, it's not doing it. Okay, we'll do it like this. So I might just have to squint, people, because I'm blind. I don't know if you can see that. So for Arsenal, Raya is in goal. Hincapié, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Rice, Zubamendi, Martinelli, Saka, Madueke and Gyökeres. No Eze, who will be on a high from his 2 assists the other day. Eze's not in the starting lineup, is he? He is on the bench. So that's an interesting choice, because he hasn't been good so far this season. But then obviously if you're looking at momentum, he did really, really well in the last match. So just interesting. And then for Wolves, you have Sa, Mosquera, Bueno. I'm going to butcher this poor guy's name. Crechi? Is that how you say that? Another Bueno. There's 2 Buenos. Bueno, like a Kinder Bueno. 2 of them. Andre, Gomez, Chichua, Bellegarde, Mateus Mane, and Armstrong. Mane I will be keeping an eye on, because I reckon this boy is going to another Premier League team. Wolves are going down. Even if they get up a spot, they're going down. They're going to be relegated. Mateus Mane, I would 100% be taking, and I think there's going to be a lot of interest in him. I think he'll go for a pretty good fee for Wolves in the summer, even if they go down, because I think even if they're relegated, I think clubs will fight over him, and when you have more than one person that wants him, it drives the price up. I think there could end up being a bit of a war for him. I think he'll be very, very good. I will be watching him tonight. It's amazing. Do you know when you're watching a match and you see the players and you hear the commentators saying the names, but then when you go to look at it yourself, it's not spelt how you expect it to be? It's tough. But let me see, what are you guys saying before I let you all go? Albo says, Leeds play a mid to high block. That's why we beat them 4-0. Fair. Ray Ray says Saka in the 10. It does look that way, yeah. And Albo says, no Ezzy, well, happy Odegaard isn't playing, get rid. I'll tell you, there's quite a few Arsenal fans that do feel that way about Odegaard. There's definitely, I know some of them. Actually, I think I know more Arsenal fans than any other opposition fans, because obviously on the channel and, you know, other channels I've been on, I know like a very diverse group of, you know, different fans of different clubs. But I think actually the people I know the most is Arsenal fans, which is really interesting, because I don't know why they would tolerate me when all I do is give out about them. But I know quite a few of them do feel that way about Odegaard, 100%, especially after the recent rumours. But listen, lads, it was just a quick one tonight. It was a bit of a casual chat, a bit of a look forward to the match, a bit of just catch up, a bit of us time, you know, on the channel. So thank you very much for taking the time out to be here. I do hope everybody enjoys the match this evening. Obviously, I will be back tomorrow at 7:30. Ooh, maybe it won't be 7:30 because we've football tomorrow, which is why I was early tonight. I was early tonight because there's football. But is there football tomorrow? Let me have a little look at what we've got going on. I never check the stuff in advance, and then I always tell you it's the wrong time. Tomorrow there is football. It's Europa League. Is there anyone sort of major playing? It'll be Vitor Pereira's first match in charge of Forest, and they'll be playing in Fenerbahce. No, so I think we'll go with the normal time. Crystal Palace will be playing tomorrow in the Conference League as well. But no, I think we'll go with the normal time tomorrow. So it will be likely 7:30 tomorrow. We'll have a catch up then. We'll see what other crack is going on. Crack is a word for fun, by the way, in Ireland, not the drug. Enjoy the match. Have a good one. Thank you for being here. Please smash a like if you haven't done so. Tell your friends, get them involved, help them join the Not cult that we have going on here. Have a good one, folks.